You've just died saving the world and have come back to life in this new timeline, where everything is wonderful and happy, like it's a wonderful, horrifying dream that you must escape before it's too late. Watch till the end, I'll show you how to beat the happy reality in My Magical Girl Madoka Magic, the movie. This magical girl Madoka has just sacrificed her life to rewrite the universe, ending the suffering of magical girls while erasing all their mortal enemies, witches. Everyone wakes up in this new timeline, but something has changed. Madoka is still here with her friends, along with the alien who tricked them all into becoming magical girls in the first place, Kyubey. However, no one can remember anything, and now they head to school as usual, and in this timeline, their teammate Homura is the new person at their school. The others quickly find out she's a magical girl too, and their ex-dead leader Mommy here tells them Homura is finally back from the hospital and will join them. But Homura doesn't remember anything before today, and the others don't either. Mommy laughs it off and tells them they have bigger problems to worry about because in this world they must fight beings known as nightmares, so they should get back to training and keep being ignorant little girls. Homura and Madoka later hang out and they both feel like they've known each other for ages. Meanwhile, their partner Hitomi sees her crush out with another girl and goes batshit crazy. Her anger causes a nightmare to appear into this world, alerting the magical girls to stop it. Mommy launches her prime attack, allowing Sayaka to fire knives in combination with Kyoko. The team quickly disables the nightmare and capture it, celebrating. That night, Homura starts feeling weird like she's done all this before, and she meets with Kyoko and asks if things seem out of place, because everyone's been acting too nice, but she seems to be the only one acting human. Seeing Kyoko confused, Homura tries to ask her more about her life and where she came from before today, but something she just can't remember, just like Homura. She says she came from her home city before she moved here, and Homura asks if they can go visit it. Kyoko hesitates, but Homura promises she'll drop all of this after, so they head off. They get on the bus and pass by the Fever Dream buildings. However, they miss their stop, reaching back to their city instead. The girls think they must have gone on the wrong bus, and they decide to try again, confirming this is their correct ride, and they try again, crossing this dark area, but they realize they passed their stop. Kyoko tells off the bus driver, but he ignores them, leaving them right back where they started. Okay, they wonder what's going on and decide to walk it. After a while, they think they've been walking way too long and should have arrived to Kyoko City by now. She thinks someone is preventing them from leaving this city, but Homura thinks something bigger is going on, and actually thinks nothing exists beyond this town. Nervous, she tells Kyoko not to tell the others what's going on until she checks something first. They notice the people around them stop and stare. Homura whispers to Kyoko that she thinks if they bring attention to what they discovered, they might be hunted down, and whoever trapped them here is watching them, so they should play along or else. Well, we don't know where we are, but something is definitely off because you gotta trust your gut, people, and here's why. Listening to your gut could actually get us out of this situation and save our life. Because a gut feeling is made up of 5 important factors. 1, how our brain processes things subconsciously, how we naturally look for patterns, survival instincts, intuition, and things that are too complex that our conscious self cannot pick up on, but our subconscious can. Our gut feeling is basically the main radar of how we survived for years, and it's really the only thing that people should pay attention to. Like if I woke up and felt like something was off, I would use something known as the reality check mental model in order to get confirmation that shit was off, like by looking for inconsistency in time and space, notable changes in locations or time that didn't follow logical sequences or repeat naturally, memory gaps or altered memories, or memories that don't match with others, unexplained events that literally just happened a few seconds ago that defied natural laws, like sudden changes in weather and suddenly never being able to get to a destination, or experiencing strange perceptions or sensations that were surreal or disconnected to reality. And finally, repetitive brain patterns. Brain by nature is designed to spot patterns and negative signs, which we could have used. Seriously, check it out. Look at a Twitch chat with hundreds of messages, and in a second, you will spot the only negative comment every single time. So basically what I'm saying is, instead of just walking around and taking this situation, I would have used our gut and brain, which we're naturally wired to do, to spot inconsistencies and things out of place, and would have used this to compile enough evidence that confirmed that at least something was going on, because this would have allowed us to save time wondering or guessing and start planning our moves sooner. Kyoko realizes some of her memories don't make sense, while Homura discovers this world seems more like a maze than a city, and quickly thinks they are in a magical labyrinth. This causes a flood of memories to come back to her, remembering how they changed their destiny in the last timeline, and how Madoka sacrificed herself to get rid of the cycle of despair, horrifying forces that caused magical girls to turn into witches once they reached a high level of sadness and despair. Homura thinks they are now found a labyrinth created by a witch, but thinks this is impossible since they killed all the witches in the last timeline, which means they missed one, and it's replaced everyone's memories with a false one. Later, Homura chills out with Madoka and Mommy at her house. Mommy tells the girls this is the happiest she's ever been in her life, it's just great. But Homura notices her pet creature Bebe and asks how long they've been friends, but Mommy can't remember and happily moves past it. Interesting. She goes to go get more tea as Homura takes this moment to freeze time with her specialty powers and lunges at Bebe. She knows what Bebe is because she remembers everything all the time and thinks she's the one that altered their memories in this fake city. Homura also remembers Mommy's personality from before and how freaking dangerously optimistic she is about everything. She prepares to kill Bebe just as Mommy shows up to stop her, revealing she knows what Homura is up to and warns her to leave Bebe alone or else. Homura tries to convince her what she knows, but of course she doesn't because this is Mommy we're talking about. With no choice left, Homura decides to stop Mommy to save everyone. The two attack but quickly realize they know each other's moves too well and will wait for one of them to eventually trip up. Alright, we're in sort of a Mexican-Japanese standoff type of situation where we're equally matched in our skills against our opponent. Sure, we can still beat Mommy by taking advantage of two things already at our disposal: the environment and our enemy's unique mind. We can defeat Mommy exploiting her psychological blind spots, and she has a few. Because she may be tough, but she's also freakingly super optimistic. On average, super optimistic people are more vulnerable to influence because they're almost kind of oblivious and are not cautious enough in evaluating information or the intentions of others. This means they could ignore the warning signs, be more disillusionist, and struggle with realism naturally. By pointing this out to Mommy and making her recognize this could make her question her reality since her entire personality relies on her positive, naive mind. I would first try and bring up the recent discoveries that we've found, like by asking Mommy, how did she get here? Where did she come from? And ask her about what wild things we've discovered, like continuously returning to the same spot on the bus. This could be similar to how we would approach by telling someone they're in a dream or a made-up reality, just like the movie Inception. Great movie. Anyways, dreams usually only feel real on the surface, but it's only once we start questioning certain things is when the logic of the dream starts to fall apart. This is because dreams occur during the deep part of REM sleep. This is when the brain consolidates memories and emotions, which is why dreams always feel so vivid. And during this time, the logic part of your brain is out on a lunch break and is less active, which is also why we believe stuff more easily. Your brain basically turns your memories and reality into a Hollywood set, just like the movie Inside Out. Fancy, but fake. This means by trying to beat Mommy, who matches us, by targeting her optimism and forcing her to answer questions about her reality, using pure, unadulterated logic, would I hope be the fastest way to completely shatter her worldview, enough to make her unsure. And it would be this slight shakeup in confidence, which would also affect her fighting ability and focus, which would allow us to gain the upper hand, however slight, and hopefully beat the shit out of her for getting in our way. Because hey guys, fighting dirty is way easier. Or if we want to go the more peaceful route, lame, we could always show Mommy the weird things we found about this place. Homura and Mommy try to tire each other out, closing the gap, but no one quite gets there. Homura freezes time again and takes out a gun to kick the bucket, but tricks Mommy last minute, cutting a ribbon attached to Homura, causing her to get frozen in time as well. She gets ready to shoot her leg, but turns out this Mommy is just a clone and gets tricked into getting caught. Now helpless, Homura begs Mommy to listen to her and thinks Bebe is a witch, but Mommy says witches don't exist since they are only wraiths in this world. Suddenly, Mommy realizes what she just said and remembers they've been fighting nightmares this whole time. Thoughts start not making sense to her, and she starts to wonder what the hell is going on. Bebe then shows back up, but in her human form, and apologizes to Mommy for not saying anything. Meanwhile, Sayaka shows up to save Homura, to have a chat with her in private. Homura tells her what she discovered, but Sayaka warns her, just because Bebe was once a witch, it doesn't mean she still is, so chill out, and even tells Homura it might be one of the magical girls themselves that trapped them in this world. Since Mommy did mention this is the happiest she's ever been, it could be that one of them thought to create this world to keep everyone happy in here forever, since they don't have to kill anyone in here and can just live a chill life. Is it really that bad to live this way? Homura starts to think Sayaka is starting to sound a little too suspicious and thinks she's officially sided with a witch. Suddenly, Homura realizes Mommy remembered fighting wraiths and not witches, while Kyoko also didn't understand what witch-made labyrinths were. Since Madoka got rid of witches in the last timeline, this means Sayaka and Bebe shouldn't know what witches are either, and this means they're not from this timeline. Homura thinks Sayaka is a witch and tries to attack her, but she quickly hides, and Sayaka from the shadow asks Homura if if she'd be okay destroying this version of their beloved city, and tells her to think hard so she doesn't regret her actions later, because nothing is as it seems. Now we gotta know what's going on. Let's follow along. Because look, despite how tough she is, there is a way we could have tried to get crucial information out of Sayaka. Let me explain. Homura up until now has been acting way too psycho and has not been super productive if we think about it, because there were ways she could have at least tried to figure this out better. If we notice, she's been a little heavy on the force and aggression side of things, and if I was there, I would have been a little more cool, a little more subtle, and have taken a page out of a police handbook, okay? In intelligence gathering situations, such as trying to make a suspect admit to something forcefully usually isn't the best move, because this can lead to false confessions and just more paperwork. I'm kidding. But what I'm getting at is, interrogators usually build rapport and create a comfortable environment in order to begin letting the suspect feel more comfortable, in order for them to open up. This is because aggression often triggers defensiveness on the other person and lessens the chance the suspect is willing to share. Establishing a friendship, or at least a chill environment, is often the more powerful move. And the same could have been said during this moment. I would have chilled out a little bit, paused for a sec, and would have tried to encourage Sayaka to open up to us willingly, establish trust in the dynamic because we're friends. I would have first tried opening up somehow and started sharing some of our own doubts and fears before encouraging her to do the same. Or at the very least, I would not have been as aggressive, because we all know that wouldn't have done shit. Try to talk to her calmly, which would have been the smarter move, since during that time we also could have tried to observe non-verbal cues to help us and figure out what she was and wasn't saying, and how she's been acting throughout all of this. Focusing on questions that cornered her into revealing enough of what she knows, or letting her slip up through our chat eventually. Homura now knows this city is fake, that someone made it up, and now calls this person a coward who turned their back on their responsibility to fight wraiths. And now seeking answers, she thinks magical girls must keep fighting, and this isn't what the real Madoka would have wanted. She runs into Madoka, who says mommy is worried about her. Homura thinks this Madoka is fake and doesn't tell her what's really going on, especially since Kyubey is right there watching them nearby. Homura tells her that she had a dream that Madoka disappeared, and no one except her could remember who she was. With so many twists now, Homura wonders if she's too starting to go a little crazy, and if her memory of Madoka are actually made up. But she comforts Homura and says she would never do anything to make Homura cry, and even if there was no choice. This makes Homura realize if these are Madoka's honest feelings, there's no way she would have sacrificed herself and left them. It means she suffered just to save everyone else. Pissing her off now, because now she knows this is the real Madoka and vows to make her happy again soon, gosh darn it, and promises she will be back after she takes care of something. How subtle, leaving her wondering what's going on while Kyubey closely watches like a creep. Maybe you should have been a little more subtle this time, girl. Homura then calls Kyoko, concerned about witches. Kyoko talks about Madoka instead. Homura tells Kyoko her memories might be wrong because of past events. She insists that to create this world with Madoka, the person must have known her. Homura believes she already knows who created the false memories and asks Kyoko to help confirm something as she gets ready to take the ultimate reality test and leaves her soul gem behind while boarding this bus. She knows magical girls can't go more than 100 meters without their soul gem and gets ready to die right now. But instead, the bus bursts into flames as the entire city catches on fire. Suddenly, Homura ends back up where she started, right near her soul gem. Now this confirms what she suspected and realizes she's no longer a magical girl and is actually a full-on witch, crushing her soul gem once and for all. Kyubey then reaches Homura and reveals that he was waiting for her to find out the truth because this is all of his doing. Homura realizes Madoka wasn't able to destroy Homura's soul gem before she turned into a witch, but wonders why she's still alive. Finding out Kyubey's people last minute created a containment field around her that prevented anyone from entering. This was a part of an experiment to see what would happen if a magic girl's soul gem stayed corrupted, but didn't turn into a grief seed. Homura is now in a deep sleep and has been subconsciously inviting people into this containment field, changing their memories as they enter, including Madoka, who has now also forgotten that she is a god. The law of cycles cleanses magical girls and makes them vanish, but Kyubey wanted to know what would happen to Homura's soul gem if it was cut off from that phenomena. Now, this field is the only thing keeping Homura completely from turning into a witch, since this world is inside her soul gem and no one who enters it can leave. But no one knows what the law of cycles really is, and Kyubey thinks if it ever tried to reach Homura, it would be forced to enter this world, forgetting its powers thanks to her subconsciousness, and would manifest as someone in this world. But up until now, they didn't know who. Kyubey tells Homura they found some people in here that don't exist in the real world, but have existed at some point in time. And thanks to her, they've realized it's Madoka. Since Madoka's meddling in the last time cycle caused Kyubey's memories of her to get erased, and now Kyubey's finally holding all the cards. And since they can't meddle in this world and disrupt the balance. He tells Homura to reach out to Madoka so she can help her finally die, and he will then be able to collect the massive amount of energy caused by this explosion. However, Homura's realization causes this reality to break. Kyubey tells Homura to reach out and make Madoka remember who she is and trigger her godlike powers, but this pisses off Homura, and she refuses to awaken Madoka in here, and doesn't care if she dies and turns into a witch, and reveals to Kyubey something his kind could never know, and tells him she became a magical girl solely to save Madoka many timelines ago, because she will do whatever she can to make her happy, and gets ready to kick a bucket right here. Okay, well, Kyubey, my man, you had so many freaking holes in your plans. Geez, like they could have taken advantage of so much up to this point by using extreme logic against him. Kyubey relied way too much on Homura's emotions and her emotional state. Kyubey being so logical means he underestimated humans because he thought they were all about emotions, and he didn't account for human resilience. The one thing he thought was humanity's weakness was actually their biggest strength. Humans are more emotional than logical, believe it or not, which also means we have the edge when it comes to the power of empathy and problem solving, which Kyubey's kind would not have been able to understand. Now, class, problems in being 100% logical are actually a lot. Like, for one, having difficulty in adapting to illogical or chaotic situations, having rigidity in following plans that do not account for human unpredictability, like he's unable to understand and use human emotions against us, which means he doesn't know what actually motivates us isn't always the most logical thing, and needing to rely on only complete data. If we notice, Kyubey till now was manipulative, but only through complete logic, and didn't do anything out of intuition or gut feeling, only when it made sense on paper. This means till now Homura and the others could have tried to use psychological warfare on him, or do illogical things that didn't make sense, like by faking compliance or going along with his plan while secretly coming up with plans of their own, and rely heavily on illogical tactics in battles and decision making that would have made it hard for him to anticipate and manipulate outcomes, and by focusing on only emotional driven decisions, such as by pretending to fall into despair only to set traps to counter him at this moment. Even simple reliance on our partners to instill hope within our group and unify us more effectively would have also prevented the team from having emotional extreme outbreaks and using our greatest strength as humans. Fighting someone with a huge glaring weakness of being too logical, while powerful yes, means that there was many ways Homura and the group could have approached this situation, and you can too, believe it or not. The dream world starts to collapse as Homura's full memories of the past timeline starts to come back to her. She gets ready to die and spare Madoka just as Sayaka and the other magical girls arrive. Mommy tells her Baby told them everything. Kyubey tells Madoka that she has the power to save Homura if she realizes her powers, but Sayaka just ignores him and they all stick to their plan instead. Sayaka and Baby finally reveal that they're part of the Law of Cycle, aka Madoka's minions sent in to assist her, and this is why they knew so much in the beginning. Sayaka tells Kyubey he was so focused on Madoka that he never noticed them, and they were assigned to hold on to Madoka's memories and powers until it was a time to give it back to her. The squad then works together to stop Homura's newly formed witch and use badass combo magic hoo-ha tactics. It's pretty cool. But anyways, Homura tells them to leave her so she can die to save Madoka, and you're like, oh, heroism, cool. But Sayaka says frig that and says she knows more, so she tells Homura to chill out and let them help. Kyoko realizes her dreams of Sayaka dying were real, and them fighting monsters in this world was the dream this whole time. Sayaka tells her that she chose this assignment because she regretted leaving Sayaka behind in the other timeline. And Baby, who killed Mommy in the last one, came back just because she loves cheese. Well, at least she's honest. Madoka gets ready to save Homura against her will as they shoot arrows at the containment field, destroying this world, spotting Kyubey's seal here. Madoka says once they bust that seal open, Homura will be free, and they will be able to reach the outside world. Finally escaping, Sayaka and Baby's souls disappear, as the true people, still alive, remain. Mommy puts the egg back in Homura's hands, as we see Sayaka and Baby help save Homura's soul, destroying her soul gem and stopping her from changing into a witch. The real Madoka finally shows up as the Law of Cycles, aka a god. Her memories are now back and is about to take Homura with her. Homura tells Madoka she's waited a long time to do this, just as she rips off a part of the Law of Cycle that is Madoka, stealing some of her godly powers and in a twist rewrites the universe. They realize her tainted soul gem is not because of a curse, but because of obsession and desire. Homura tells them she doesn't expect them to understand what she's always felt and has been saving it for Madoka and will now never let her go again, announcing she has officially become the opposite of Madoka, who is a god. god has now turned into a demon. Well, this seems crazy, but really, her actions are actually the 100% most sweetest thing ever. Homura's actions are entirely designed by her desire to protect Madoka, and has even disregarded her well-being and the consequences for others. Seriously, she doesn't care. This was evident in her repeating the timeline again and again and again and again, even if she suffered a million times. And if we notice her gradual acceptance of darker method, including manipulating other magical girls against her initial plan, it's clear she was crossing over to the dark side. Even by just working alone and hiding the true extent of her plans to prevent her friends from interfering, some of her actions downright didn't make sense, unless we spotted the signs. The cause of obsession is a mix of psychological, neurological, and social factors, as an obsessed person usually has an overreactive dopamine system, as well as a mismatch of a love hormone, which can create an intense feeling of bonding and even disruptions in serotonin, which regulates mood and anxiety. Homura till now not only exaggerated Madoka's importance, but her black and white thinking means she was never satisfied with any result that wasn't her exact idealized outcome, and that's why she kept repeating the timeline. Perfectionism is another common trait with people who have obsessions. And here's the crazy thing, Homura, in the most effed up way possible, is actually the most altruistic of all, because Kyubey was planning to bring back the witches, which Madoka didn't know this, and when she tried saving Homura and also maintained the balance in the world. By Homura making Kyubey her little you-know-what, she brought back chaos and evil into the world in a non-supernatural way. Because if you think about it, Homura is now the yin to Madoka's yang. The universe starts to get rewritten again. Homura announces that because her feelings for Madoka run so deep, her soul gem became tainted by psycho love. Kyubey, unable to feel emotions, doesn't understand what this means and realizes this was his biggest weakness. He finally realizes human emotions are way too dangerous to control and tries to escape. But Homura catches him, saying he will now live to serve her, because the curses spread around the world now must still be dealt with, and his kind will be useful to get rid of them. With all the power, Homura creates a new world where everyone seems happy, wiping their memory, creating a new timeline again. And now it's another day in school, and the girls go back to living their best life, but quickly notice someone watching them, Homura. However, Sayaka spots her this time and gets angry at her for breaking a piece of the law of cycles that saves magical girls. Homura says she only took a piece of Madoka that caused her to not exist, saving her life. But Madoka brought along Sayaka and everyone else into this world, so now they are trapped here along with her. Since Homura is now a demon, Homura thinks she will destroy this world, but Homura says after all the wraiths are wiped out from the world, she may or may not, and supposes Sayaka can be her enemy by the end of it, wiping Sayaka's memory. Homura gives her another chance at being human, and thinks they should be friends for now for Madoka's sake, and everything officially gets restarted. Later at school, Madoka in this timeline is the new person, and a totally innocent Homura introduces herself and offers to show her around. But Madoka says everything seems so nostalgic, like she's been here before, but this time it feels new, and this small realization causes her to partially transform into her true form, but Homura quickly gives her a hug, saying this is exactly who she was meant to be since the beginning, stopping her from remembering her true past. Concerned, she asks Madoka if she treasures her world, or if she would break its laws to follow her heart. But Madoka tells her she treasures this world and would do anything to protect it, being completely the opposite to Homura's mindset. She tells Madoka one day they might become enemies, and secretly wishes to live in a world where Madoka puts her happiness first and will do whatever it takes to keep her happy.
But what do you guys think about the video? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a thumbs up down below. And as always, don't forget to check out our How to Be playlist.